Okay, on the count of 3, everyone say their favorite video game. 1, 2.
Soul Blade. Okay. What's the best game console of all time? 1, 2.
Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Oh my god. Okay. Name the greatest lead character in gaming history. 1, 2.
Gex the Gecko.
What? Do we just become best friends?
Yep.
Do you guys want to go do some karate in the garage?
Yep. All right, I'll grab the nunchucks. Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. I'm your host, Mason Merrill, and with me today again is my two co-hosts, Weston Toth and Aaron Bowen. What is up, boys? How you doing, Weston?
Good. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Aaron, what's up, man?
I'm also good. Good. I got 3 of them in there.
All right, I think we're gonna set the record for how many times you can say "good" in the beginning of a podcast.
Oh, I can do more.
Good. Pretty good.
So what's been up, guys? You been working pretty hard, Weston?
Oh man, I've just I've been working so hard. As you guys know, every time we try to do this on our normal day, it doesn't work out because I just have massive amounts of work to do, which is great because I'm getting paid, and that's great. But also, working too hard sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, there's something to be said for working hard.
No, I said too hard. I love working hard.
Too hard.
When you just coming home and you just kind of look at your wife and she's just like, "Hey, how was your day?" and you just like start drooling on yourself. That's not good. That's not good.
You just collapse on the floor and cry, basically. You know?
No, I don't cry. I have this blank look. Have you ever seen the movie?
Oh, I weep.
Fantastic
openly.
Mr. Fox.
Mm-mm.
You've never wait.
No, I don't.
Wait, what?
No.
I guess I need to go home and watch that.
Are you actually? This is like a classic, dude. Okay,
it's like a documentary or
something.
Or what is
Fantastic Mr. Fox? None of you have seen that.
Is it a? It's about a fox. No, I know. I've seen it. It's about a fox man, half fox. Who
you're reading the synopsis right now from Google.
He's super. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a Wes Anderson film. It's animated. It's George Clooney plays the fox. It's just a bunch of good voice actors. It's a great game. I mean, it's a great movie. You should go watch it. But anyway, there's this
check that out.
Yeah, his neighbor or like his friend who's always partnered with him. He's always like, "Hey, why do you have that look in your eyes?" And it's this it's like a mole, and he just has like the where his eyes are like the spinny black, like like the you know what I'm saying, and he's just like, "What? I'm fine." That's me when I come home. She's like, "How was your day?"
Is this a prequel to Zootopia? Is this a Zootopia prequel?
Yes, you are in fact correct.
Okay. I think I've seen that one.
Okay. Yeah, it's basically Zootopia, but not.
Nice. All right. Well, what have you been up to, Aaron? You're trying to sell your house. I heard you had like a crazy day yesterday or something.
Oh yeah, that was super fun. Yeah, so yesterday, we've been trying to sell the house, and yesterday, around like 3 in the afternoon or whatever, I got a request for a showing for Tuesday, which was yesterday, and I thought yesterday was Monday. So randomly, some people showed up at my house 2 hours later, and like we're all in our pajamas. I didn't feel good. My mom's not feeling good. Katie's, just woke up not too long ago because she had worked the night previously, and there's just like people like coming up to our house, and had to kind of intervene and be like, "I'm so sorry. I thought that was tomorrow," and made him wait 10 minutes so that we could clean up a little bit.
Good times.
That was bonkers. Yeah, that was super duper fun.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot to add something. I'm actually I'm looking into buying a house and or property right now.
Yeah. This is actually my time for friendly banter.
Sorry,
Weston. You ate that up with your Zootopia prequel. So if you could not interrupt me, I'd appreciate it.
You set me up though.
I didn't set anything up. You should have talked about it before.
No, man.
No, I'm just kidding.
You were the catalyst of my thought process. Man. No, I was just saying. I'm just excited.
So you're trying to buy a house?
No, that's awesome, dude.
Possibly.
Good
time to do it.
We're potentially buying a house. Because interest rates are free right now. We're either going to be buying a new house or it's like something relatively new. Or what I want to do is I want to buy a piece of land that's kind of outside the city. Because if you can buy land inside of Austin, you are actually a billionaire.
Yeah.
So we're going to buy like hopefully some land outside of Austin, and I'm going to put a shop in it and a house and like kind of like old school, basically be able to have like a full gym, place to play music.
Nice.
Storage for my business.
That's awesome, man.
And a place to live. So I'm hoping that's gonna happen.
Beautiful.
Are you guys still thinking about keeping the place you have, or is that idea next and you're just looking at going somewhere else?
No, yeah, we're still thinking about that as well because oh, by the way, anyone out there who's trying to rent a place, if you find someone that you like renting from, like a good landlady, you just keep them because the other side of the coin is 100%. So wretched that, for instance, like right now we have a great landlady. She's wonderful. She anytime something needs to be done, she's taking care of it. She's just here. Like we have a mutual respect for each other as tenant and landlady. We want to keep her house really nice. She wants to treat us really great. So that's why we're considering just not doing any of that and maybe just signing another year. But I don't know, man. Like Mason said, because interest rates are so low, and I just want to get a little piece of property and put some nice stuff on it, and I can if we move a little bit out of town, I can do that and not have like a $5,000 a month payment. So
yeah, we're actually looking at houses tomorrow. Oh,
nice.
Oh, for
you guys
for Aaron
moving
or for
too?
you?
No, for me. We're thinking we're trying to make a decision whether we're going to stay another couple years or, since interest rates are low, try to sell and move to a little bit bigger of a place now that we have the kiddos. But we're going to go look at a couple places tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, because your place, at least when I came to it, with two, like once they get to be like full grown toddlers, it's on the cusp of being too small for you guys, right?
Yeah, and the only reason we would try to do it right now, usually they say you need to be in a place for 5 years, but the only reason we would try to do it right now is because things are so low. But if we have to wait another couple of years, we're fine with that too. But it is coming down the pipe that we will need to upgrade at some point. So yeah, good times.
Cool,
being adults,
awesome, fun.
Yeah, right.
Let's be children, play some video games.
Yeah.
I know everybody listening to this podcast right now is be like, so are they just going to talk about mortgage rates for an hour, or what's the deal here?
Real estate podcast.
They're like, I'm going to be an old man for a little while and talk about mortgage rates, and then we're going to talk about our prostates afterwards. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, man. All right. So the thing today is the game we are playing is Soul Blade, as you heard in our lovely new intro. Soul Blade for the PlayStation.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm super hyped for this. By the way, I actually did want to talk about the intro for a second. A lot of love went into that intro, and if you guys have been listening to the podcast for a while, obviously you know that the name of it's the Karate in the Garage podcast. Because we used to be in a band called Karate in the Garage together, and that intro was a reworked quote from the movie that we thought was pretty entertaining and pretty funny. So that's why that's there. It just seemed a little bit random, maybe. But if you know the inside back history of the three amigos running the podcast, then that is why it is there. We just thought it'd be fun, just switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, cool. It's always nice to give it a facelift. We've had that intro for running on 2 years now. So
yeah, I got
and
some
now
really good.
Aaron's a part of it too.
I got some really good feedback from people who listened to the show. So I was pretty happy that I was well received.
Nice.
Cool. Awesome, man. All right. So yeah, back to Soul Edge for the Soul Blade for the PlayStation. Basically, the arcade version of this game was called Soul Edge, and that was the actual name of the sword in the game as well. But the PlayStation version, for whatever reason, was called Soul Blade. And this game was released in the United States on PlayStation in January of 1997, and in the arcade version of it was released December of 1995. So it took a couple years to get from PlayStation to console, and maybe that's why they changed it up a bit. But basically, the genre of this game, it's a fighting game, 2 players. Just kind of it was one of kind of the first 3D type fighters that had more of a basis to it rather than just the 2D Street Fighter type thing. and it was all new IP, so meaning there was no guest characters or anything. It was all new characters, and this was the first of this series that went on, obviously, for a long time, turned into Soul Calibur and things like that.
Oh yeah. This is a piece of gaming history right here, as far as how innovative it was for the time and everything. There are games that are kind of similar to it. We talked about like Aragaz. We talked about what is the one we played a couple weeks ago? The Power Stone, and just like kind of things that almost do a pretty good job of being similar to this, but this like Soul Blade is just, it was so good, and it's just the beginning of an amazing franchise. Like it's fantastic. Like all of them are fantastic.
That's what was so cool. Like why I was hyped to play this game, because I played all the other Soul Caliburs a lot and like kind of got the back lore of it, but I never got the first, like right up front, the first game where these characters kind of came from, the start of them. Which there's not too much story to it. There is a little bit in between in the arcade mode and things like that, but just to see the first iterations of these characters was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
The characters in the game, there were a total of 10 characters: Mitsurugi, Siegfried, Taki, Lilong, Sofitia, Rock, Seong, Mina, Voldo.
I love him.
And then there was Cervantes, which was pretty cool. So there was once again, another thing with this, there was a shorter amount of character lists, but less was more in this game.
Definitely.
Is how I kind of felt about it. So,
absolutely.
So as far as like the intro to like the gameplay, how did you feel about that, Aaron?
I mean, the gameplay is almost perfect in my opinion. The timing is so wonderful in this game. There's a lot of really subtle combos that you can pull off just with like your horizontal attack, vertical attack, and kick. It doesn't make you input like wild command combos like Tekken or Street Fighter does to pull off some moves. I mean, you can do some really cool stuff, but it's definitely not necessary. Ring outs are a lot of fun. I like being able to knock people out of the ring. That's always been a big plus in this game, in the series, I should say, for me. And I loved that they had multiple gameplay modes, because it's just like the arcade mode is so tight and quick and fast, and you can knock out an arcade mode in 10 minutes if you're super good, and then like you have the team mode where you can have like 5v5 teams set up against the AI or against a buddy. I think it was 5v5. It might have been 4v4, but either way. And then the story mode is awesome just because it's not just like you fight the same guy 2 times each stage, just go on. But the parameters for the fight change. Sometimes there's a fight where you'll lose health over time because you're in the desert and you're overheating. Or like when you go to the arena, which is like the 3rd stage, and you fight 4 people, like 4 different people each different time, and your health doesn't regen, and it just gets so many things right because, like you said, I mean, there's not really much story, but there is way more story than any other fighting game I have ever played in these games. And you see that from like, you have to, like, you can choose your weapon in story mode. That's a big thing for games in this era, because that wasn't really ever a thing. You just had whatever weapon you had, and now you have stats on your weapons and things like that. You can change. In the story mode, it had the book that you had to read through before you could do the next battle, which you could skip it if you wanted to, but they really presented it to you in a way that said, no, we really want you to appreciate the story for what it is. And it just adds to the gameplay because it makes it more interesting to go through all of the characters' stories and learn about all these different characters. And there's not that many of them, but I mean, back in 1997, you didn't need a lot, and it was still a super duper replayable game back then. Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. My only negatives as far as the gameplay is that it seemed like a couple characters could kind of like hit you on the ground with certain attacks when others couldn't. Like if you were laying on the ground. And then there was a couple times when the AI seemed like it was just like like murder bot, full blown hardcore, and then the next round it would just be like kitty
Nothing.
cat. Like it was it was so all over the place. But I mean, other than the AI difficulty being scattered, and that was like even just fighting the same person. Like if you lost to somebody and then the next round you fought them again, you could perfect shot them. You know, it just depended. But those are the only two really like big critiques I had as far as the gameplay goes.
Yeah. So we talked about that story a little bit. But basically, the prologue of the story was that there were 9 warriors looking for the soul edge that had mysteriously disappeared in an auction, and it had a great amount of power, and it had split into 2 swords. And so basically, Captain Cervantes was the guy who was in possession of those swords. And so the warriors from around the world are searching for this sword for different reasons, to gain the power or justice or revenge or whatever it is that person was looking for. And at the end of the arcade mode, at least, you would fight Cervantes, and then there would be a cutscene where you win the sword in the end. So. Had a great deal of power to that sword. And then I played through like Siegfried's, and at the end he turns into Nightmare, which that was cool because, you know, Nightmare is a big character in the rest of the games, and all that kind of stuff. So pretty neat. But how'd you feel about the graphics of this game, Weston?
I thought it was honestly pretty good, especially considering like the year that it came out. The animations for the characters were like, I think like 10 out of 10. They were really good, and they were fluid. The backgrounds of the stages, it was really funny because there's 2 of them that are really bad, and the rest of them are really good. I don't know if you noticed that, but the first 2, I started like going through it, and the first 2 were just like, oh man, they just didn't, you know, I mean, they must not have the capacity to do that. And then the rest of them were like pretty stinking good. So like they had one where you're on like a raft on a river. They have like ones that you're like in a coliseum, or one like that you're in a desert, and those feel really legit. Or even on like by Cervantes's ship, like you're like his ship's behind you while you're fighting, and you're kind of on the water too. Like those are really cool. And there's one that even tilts, like you're like on this tilting platform. So I thought the graphics and the overall like backgrounds of them was really good, except there was literally 2 that I think they just glanced over it or just didn't care because they were pretty horrible. It was strange.
Maybe they developed those first and got better later in the game as they were going. One thing that was cool about this game, it kind of introduced skins rather than just different colors of the fighter. So they had different costumes and stuff they could wear. Like there was one where Siegfried was full armor, and then there was one where he was kind of wearing like just like a knight's gi type thing. And then, well, like, it kind of reminded me.
Is he training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
It kind of reminded me of like Goku / like Prince Charming, you know, kind of how he was dressed. But I'm
pretty sure he was just like his squire outfit, but that's cool.
Yeah, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. But.
I want Mason to go to like Fashion Week in New York and just be an announcer.
It's like,
so bad,
dude. I really like your gi, bro. And they're just like, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah,
this is Armani. What are you talking about?
Listen, I never worked at Brooks Brothers or Old Navy. Okay.
You look like
fashion.
Like Goku. This is Oscar De La Renta's suit, man. This costs $10,000. Whatever.
Okay,
I don't care.
Back to the game though. But yeah, anyway, the skins were cool rather than just color changes of fighters and things like that. That was one thing that it just adds a little flavor to the game. That's just like, oh, that's cool. I want to look different on the screen, and you know, kind of changes it up a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah, so. I mean, considering that's how 90% of games make their money now is through skins of characters. Like, obviously, everyone cares about it because once you get a skin that you like or you always pick, even on Super Smash Brothers, like, you know, you'll get Pikachu with a ninja, you know, hat, or one with like a luchador. You're like, oh, that's so cool, and you always pick it, or you want to change it up from battle to battle and just get you some extra flavor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's like that a lot.
Yeah, that's really cool. So. You know, one thing that they always talk about in fighting games is kind of the balance of the characters. versus their kind of heavy, light, medium type.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys feel about like kind of how the hit rate was and things like that of each character, like the lighter characters versus the heavier characters?
Aaron?
I felt good about it overall. I don't really think there was a massive amount of imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing is there are attacks for each character that are super cheesy to use and will like 3-shot somebody basically if you really wanna. And so it's kind of tricky. I think in general it felt balanced though. It didn't really feel like anybody was that much harder to kill or that much harder to fight, or easier to fight than anybody else.
I mean, Siegfried having like a ridiculously long sword and like he could do the link stab on the ground and the plunge in the heart.
Yeah.
But
Right.
he opens because he had the big sword and his attacks were slower. If you had a guy who was really quick, he could get inside while he was swinging. So
yeah, like Sophitia versus Siegfried, she was so fast that she did that like straddle you, break your neck move, which was wildly erotic. But but yeah, so like
I didn't know you
that
were
was
into girls. Like, did your wife like hurt you? Like, is that why you had bruises last time I saw you?
Mason's really into getting choked. I don't know.
No, but anyway, so so yeah, but Siegfried being a slower character who I played, I got owned by that attack a lot. So it was kind of a give and take. Like Siegfried could definitely kill you in a couple hits, but with those smaller, quicker attacks, if you were more like on your toes, you could really take over and win the fight and not even let him get a punch in.
Yeah, and I really think that the 3D element to the game benefited that feature greatly because it was a lot quicker for somebody like Sophitia to just dodge or not just back away or block or anything like that you would get in a 2D fighter, but to actually like swoop around you and come from the side and flank you or come from behind, and that added a whole different level to the combat as well, as far as like you said, characters with longer, shorter reach, faster and slower characters and things like that.
Yeah.
And it changed how you fought with each character too, because usually like with Siegfried, I'm gonna stay as far away from everybody as possible and then just try to poke them from a distance slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I love this introduction of being able to go back and forth, like spin around the character, because in a regular standard 2D fighter, because all of these arenas you could like fly out of. So in like a standard 2D fighter, if they back you up or they have like moves that are going to push you back, like you're kind of messed up. But this one you could actually just swing back around them continually and then push them out or
kick them out. I know.
It was
and
so
also,
good.
Yeah. And like
so
jump
good.
over them and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. One thing I had a
absolutely.
problem with was unless I was on the ground, I couldn't roll like sideways. Was there like a sideways move or did I just miss that? Like where you could dash sideways.
You can dash. It's just you can dash sideways. You just can't do it like it's not like a continual sideways thing where you can just go around, but you have to do like a little combo.
Right.
And it'll like
okay.
I think it's the difference between using the D-pad and the joysticks too.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I was using a D-pad when I was playing, so maybe that was it.
Yeah.
But but when I got hit, I could like roll sideways, and that was cool because that was kind of like a recovery from being hit. You got hit, you're on the ground, you roll over, and then you jump up and you hit him again.
Yeah.
So
I have a question. Do you guys know if this game implemented that or did Tekken? Because the one thing that I thought when I was playing this game, especially this iteration of like PS1, is obviously Tekken's just like there's no like swords and stuff in it, but the fact like where you roll, like when you're down on the ground, you're rolling, and even like the movements of it felt very like, at least the closest thing that I can think of is like old Tekken.
Yeah, probably Tekken because they were first. So
okay.
Yeah, they might. I don't know, honestly.
This
is a lot better than Tekken in my opinion, but it's
I like it because of the weapon aspect.
Yeah,
like Aaron was saying, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I prefer this type of story. I think it's cool. Like the kind of old school takes place in the 1500s of that of what the world is. But yeah, it was cool. And like I was saying, less is more. And whenever you would hit, it felt really smooth. It didn't feel like it was like you were hitting before the blade actually touched him or anything like that, So I thought the balance and the mechanics of the game were really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we talked about graphics and kind of the backstory a little bit. As far as sound, did anything stand out to you guys about the sound?
Yes. The
Aaron?
music is some of the best music in a fighting game I have ever listened to. It is so good.
Yeah.
The voice acting is kind of crummy. The announcer sounds like he's an announcer in a train station.
Yeah.
But the music is such good quality, and it's like the thing is like it's kind of like that like synthetic, PlayStation 1 music to a certain extent. But it adds a level of quality to each fight, as far as the pace of the music, because a lot of it's very symphonic. It's not all like rock music like you would normally find in a lot of fighting games. It's very symphonic, like a Final Fantasy game would be.
Yes.
And so I really enjoyed that aspect. It made it feel like more epic, I guess, like as far as like the overarching breadth of the music. I don't know how to say it better than that.
I agree with that. Like whoever did the music really put a lot of effort into it. It wasn't the same thing over and over again. There was an actual score to the game, and it felt like you were in that time period, or it felt like it fit what was everything that was going on. It wasn't just like a arcade kind of run around on it, which was really cool. I really appreciate that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the theme song is super cheesy, like anime cheesy, but the actual like menu and gameplay music is just so wonderful, and I really enjoyed it.
You know what this could be compared to is like, obviously games that came out way older than this is the Kingdom Hearts games. Whenever you're running around and you have like each world has kind of like a battle sequence and then like a chill sequence, and it's kind of some like those are actually like maybe more symphonious, but this is like symphonic, but it was that enjoyable to listen to where it never got old. Like,
it was so
cool.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
They released this as they had a version of it where the soundtrack was like a bonus to the game.
Nice.
Like on a disc, and then they also released it separately too. So
yeah, really good job on the music.
26 tracks in the game too, which is really cool. So I always like that. Especially in a fighting game where you're kind of doing the same thing over and over again, it kind of gives it a lot of flavor to like when you're playing the game, adds a lot.
No, I completely agree. Yeah.
So, I think it was a perfect balance between being an arcade fighter where you could play at the arcade and have a lot of fun with it, and then also, play it at home and get more deep into the kind of story aspects of the game. Did you think that, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. And that's the thing, like, I was playing this on my phone, and I found myself, like, if I had a chunk of time to sit down, I would play the story mode. And if I just had, like, 15-20 minutes, I would just hang out for a minute and play the arcade mode for a little bit if I and it's nice because there aren't that many characters, but there is a lot to do with them as far as all the different modes you have to play. So there's definitely a little bit of, I shouldn't say there's a little bit of something for everyone, but I guess more or less there's a little bit of something for everyone as far as how much time you're gonna spend playing at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that. And so the developer of this game was a company called Project Soul, which was solely based on developing these games, and the publisher was Namco Bandai, that kind of thing. So they had a dedicated team that was working on these games and these games only, which was cool. So, and down to the latest release, which was a couple of years ago, they never changed it. They never put it out to another company or anything like that.
Which is just so wonderful to see, because that happens so rarely nowadays.
True.
To see the same team working on it year in and year out, they grow a love for it, and they really want to take care of their baby, and it shows. I mean, they're all great games, and they add so much to each installment of each game. I'm really fanboying out here right now. I apologize, but I love them so much. They're so good.
Yeah, there's been 12 installments of this series too throughout the years from 95 to 2018, and I don't know, are they working on another one now? I'm not sure. They probably are.
I was gonna say they are working on 6 right now. I don't know if there's a launch date for it or anything like that, but I know it's in development. Yeah.
Actually, that would be 7. 6 was released in 2018.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Then
So it'd
I
be
must have
7.
misread what I
They're
was
working
reading.
on it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's been a while since I played one, so I think
Yeah.
the last one I played was on PS3.
So
5
we-
PS3.
we've touched kind of the sound and the graphics and things like that. As far as replayability, it all kind of goes hand in hand. I think it was 10 out of 10 replayability. If I saw this as a retro game at a arcade or something, I'd definitely pump some quarters into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
If I saw
and
it at the arcade.
like if I was playing console, I would definitely play later versions of the game.
Mhm.
I think coming up, like this game was definitely really good, and it was a awesome first start. I think Soul Calibur 2 was almost a perfect game, though. So I think the
Mhm.
series has kind of gotten better as it's gone.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and I played Soul Calibur 2 a lot, and it was cool because, like,
Mhm.
throughout the series, it became known as having that guest spot character. They developed their own IP, and then they would bring in other characters, which is cool. So,
Yeah. I think my thing is, like, if I had this on PS1 as like a teenager, I would never stop playing it. And then once I got the second one, because I had the second one for GameCube and Xbox,
yeah,
I would have every single installment. I would make sure that I bought a console specifically for each game.
oh nice.
And I kind of played it in like a broken way, because I had 2 and then I had 4 and 5. So I kind of, like I said, it was kind of broken up. But this game is it takes you back so much because there is so much from the first game, Soul Blade, that they keep in those later iterations.
Oh yeah,
That it pulls you right in and it makes you feel right at home because I know all of these characters. I played Siegfried. I already knew all of his moves and how to use him. And it's so wonderful going back to that to see how it's evolved over the years. That if I had this when I was a kid, I would never have stopped playing it for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, good times on this for sure. Question though, going to Soul Calibur 2, who was better, Spawn or Link?
Link.
Yeah, I never played as Spawn because I didn't have an Xbox, but I thought that
Link was super.
Yeah,
super overpowered.
Yeah, and fun fact, the PlayStation 2 version had a Tekken character, but that was actually a plan B because Cloud was supposed to be the original, but the deal fell through with Square Soft at the time, and it didn't happen. But that would have been interesting to see Cloud in this game.
Yeah, that would have been super sick.
Yep. But anyway, okay, well, I think it's time to rate this game. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Do it.
Let's do it.
And we're doing swords, obviously. So
yeah, I had the same thing written down.
Okay, so I'm going to give this. Oh man, 9 out of 10 blades.
Okay.
Yeah.
I personally, so I'm gonna explain my scoring a little bit here.
Go for it.
So overall, playing this very, very fun. I found myself wanting to play the game more versus just thinking I kind of needed to play it for the podcast so that we could, talk about it. Like I said before, it was very comforting, feeling very familiar to play it because I've played the other installments in the franchise. It's just kind of had that OG feeling of kind of lacking the polish that the sequels had, and they became so much more refined over time. I didn't agree with Weston on the graphics at all. I thought they were really bad, just in general. I didn't like the graphics very much. But I still have it on my phone. I'll still probably find myself in a waiting room at the doctor's office playing a few rounds. But I scored each aspect of the game individually, and it averaged out to be a 7 out of 10. Because the overall package of it kind of has its flaws, but mechanically, gameplay wise, it's very sound. It's innovative. It's clearly a memorable game.
Yeah. Well, I gave it more because the graphics to me were as good as a PlayStation 2 were better than like Dragon Ball Z Budokai on PlayStation 2, so it was just
Really?
such
wait,
for
what?
its time frame.
Come down here.
Nah.
Dragon Ball Z
I don't know about
Budokai
that.
1, the first one. Look up the first one.
I never played the first one. I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, and the graphics on this game were better in as far as the gameplay and everything Budokai 1, not 2. 2 is where they changed the game. But it kind of had a similar feel, minus, in Dragon Ball Z you don't really use weapons. But yeah, this game was just, I felt it was so ahead of its time for the graphics at that time, So that's why I really liked it.
Yeah.
All right, Weston.
Yeah. So I have a question to ask. Like, I guess either one of you is, what graphics were like outstandingly better than? So okay, let me preface this. I never had a PlayStation 1. So what graphics on PlayStation 1 were like so superior to that game? Like,
I can't think of any.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, is there a lot? I'm not saying
Yeah.
like graphics. Do they hold up to nowadays? No, of course not. Like, we're in the age of like complete realism.
Oh yeah. I mean, back in the day, like, they were fine, but I think my thing is, like, there, like you said, there's a lack of backgrounds in each stage. The characters are blocky. It reminded me, the characters were like a little bit of a step up from like Final Fantasy VII, and I get it, because yeah, obviously it's a game from 1997. Actually, it's not even a game from 1997. It's a game from like 1994, because it was in the arcade in 1995. In Japan, it was probably released in like 1994 or so. So I get it. But there are games like, if you want to talk about like games that were out around the same time, like Gran Turismo would have looked way better.
Other
fighting games that looked better.
You're talking about two.
But,
just like Forza Horizons is one of the best, most realistic games of it now. Like, you're talking about two different,
they're different.
way different things, though.
I understand, but I get, my point is that there are games that do take it to the next level. Yes, obviously you can't compare it to like Final Fantasy VIII, because all of the backgrounds are pre-rendered. You can't interact with them, things like that. Like a game like this, you have to have a full 360 motion view, etc. I completely understand that, but there are like a racing game, you switch between multiple different views, whether it be first person, third person, or what have you, on the fly, looking behind you on the fly, turning around into the stadiums and things like that. And you can see all of that with a lot more detail than in a game like this, and it's still split-second reactions. So to me, it's not that much different, even though it's a different genre. The way a computer would process it isn't, in my head, super duper different. So that's my I don't know, line of reasoning, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Like, obviously we all have our own opinions on it. I think like I said, I never had a PlayStation, so I'm just comparing it to what I think most of the PlayStation games look like that I have played. Like, I don't have like a big like the pool I'm grabbing from is probably like 10 games that I've played on the PlayStation. And I remember all the games on the PlayStation whenever I played them, because I went from, even like from like N64, and then I went from like I had a Dreamcast. I had a Dreamcast before, because PlayStation 2 came after. Dreamcast came after PS1, and then PlayStation 2 came after Dreamcast. But I was the one with Dreamcast, so to me, like, I was like, oh, PS1, because all my friends had PS1, and I thought they were like pretty crappy anyway in comparison. So, but like the polygons were like definitely pretty bad. It was jagged in a lot of areas. But besides the couple levels that were pretty stinking horrible, like just maybe 3 out of 10. I just didn't think it was that bad. And plus, when a game plays really smooth, and it wasn't glitchy, it wasn't dropping frames or anything like that. That's so much better than like it looking insanely pretty. Does this game hold up like to the standards now? Not really, because me and Mason talked about this. When games try to do like graphics like this one did versus like an art style, the graphics never hold up, because graphics have continually gotten better, but art styles hold up really well. And this one didn't really have an art style, just had graphics. Right. So I think, for me, it was a 8 out of 10, because of the fact that, again, what do we always talk about? Like, the things that it did well, like the music was good, it played smoothly, the story was like, it obviously wasn't perfect, but it was there. Because there was a progression, and at the end, obviously, you beat Soul Edge, and then you become Nightmare. Like, that was all cool. So
yeah,
I think it was an 8 out of 10. It wasn't a perfect game, but it was, for at least PlayStation 1, out of all the other games I've played on PlayStation 1, it was pretty up. It's pretty up there for me. So I think 8 out of Blades out of 10 for sure. So It wasn't perfect. You're right. Like I don't think they necessarily looked great, but considering all of the other games that I used to like, I've played on PlayStation, it looks okay for sure. It did what it had to.
All right, cool, awesome. Well, I think we got that one in the books. Moving on. From that, it was definitely a fun one to play. So
Yeah.
Cool.
Heck yeah.
All right, so let's. I got a couple ideas for next week out there. You guys want to talk about it a little bit? Aaron had suggested Perfect Dark since it's an anniversary of that. There's also Gran Turismo and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I'll get to in a little bit why I chose Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as my suggestion. So,
yeah, absolutely.
What sounds good to you guys?
I'm down for any of the three.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think they're probably a little bit different than what we've played recently.
Well, let's put it this way. Do you have time to jump into like a good story game right now, Weston, with Perfect Dark?
Yeah, I should be able to
spend some time playing this.
Yeah, I should be able to play it. It's just as long as I can get it, working properly sooner than later, then I'm good. It's not about like I always have time to play our games, but it's how fast can I get them working?
Whether or not it works, yeah.
So yeah. But
Cool.
I'm down. I think us playing Tony Hawk would be cool because of the reason that I know you're about to talk about, as well. But I think we should do that, and do a side by side comparison. So whenever this next iteration is able to we can talk about that right now. Then we can do Tony Hawk. I think that would be a really good time to do that and just see the differences and truly like, man, was this game, did it play well? Because I have really fond memories of Tony Hawk 1, 2, and Underground more than any of them.
Yeah, we played that game so much.
Yeah,
together.
So I would really like to see how it holds up because I haven't played that in like at least 15 years. Like no lie.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think Tony Hawk for our generation was like what defined a lot of our musical influences.
Yeah, true.
In general, I mean, really.
Skater, punk rock.
Oh, dude, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, Perfect Dark it is. Then we'll do that.
Okay.
Unless you guys
20th anniversary is next Friday.
Okay. Cool. And the game actually was set in the year 2020. So.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Oh, that's so beautiful. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. And I had never actually played this game. So for the N64, we played Perfect Dark.
I played this at your house. Were you not there?
Probably not then,
No,
because I don't remember playing Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
I remember like
Mason
Turok
never attends his own
and
parties.
Jet Force Gemini.
No. Yeah, I played this at your house in multiplayer mode with I think like Brandon and your brother.
We played a lot of GoldenEye.
Yeah, no, but this one
I
was
remember
definitely there
having
too. We played this game.
Okay.
Actually, I might have even played
awesome.
this with Ben and Dan and your brother.
Yeah, maybe.
Mason never attends his own parties, so that's just.
I'm kind of hipster like that.
He's like the Great Gatsby. He just
I
doesn't
show
even
up late to my own party.
Yeah.
Mason is the big
yeah.
Gatsby.
Okay. Maybe I'll remember it when I play it, but yeah, I don't remember ever jumping into this one. So excited about it
It's
because
really good.
I hear it has a pretty good story, so I'm gonna probably bust it out tonight and start playing it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how well it aged because
Yeah.
I haven't played this probably in 15 years. So yeah, I'm looking forward
I'm
to
looking
it.
at some of the graphics right now, and I'm like, wait, if you had a problem with this last game and you're like a really big fan,
yeah.
I wonder what you're gonna think after you
trust
start
me,
playing
dude.
Yeah,
this.
I was looking at
know
some
they're bad.
screens. It just reminds me of GoldenEye, which that's another game we need to play too. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, cool. Okay, so Perfect Dark it is. So why we were talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is Summer Game Fest is kicked into full gear, and they announced basically Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster, almost like a remake of these games. So what was your first reaction to seeing this news, Weston?
I'm super excited. Because I read the article too, and it seems like number one is they got most of the original music because of licensing.
Yeah.
It's not everything, but again, like we were talking about, that soundtrack just was so good. I mean, it was ridiculously good. And like I said, it's probably been 15 years at least since I revisited some of these games, and the redo looks just so nice. This is what I was always into skateboarding, as you know, but like this is what got like millions of kids into skateboarding because of this game and how good, and it was just a good video game. So I'm happy they're doing this because I know they did a lot, like 7 more Tony Hawks, but the first 3 I think were undeniably the best, and they're doing 1, 2, and then I think 1, 2 were really good, and then Tony Hawk Pro Skater Underground, and then after that they started doing it started maybe I just fell out, or they just started getting not that good, but these first 2 are just like groundbreaking in terms of like how popular skateboarding was, number 1, and just like people who didn't even like video games wanted to play this. So
you know, my first thought when I saw the trailer drop, I was like, they better have Spider-Man and Spyro the Dragon in these games.
True.
So
That's awesome.
Probably Spider-Man not so much because of licensing, but Activision still does own Spyro, so maybe.
Oh man.
Well, no, I was gonna say Sony owns the film rights to Spider-Man, so maybe that'll translate into it being on the PlayStation in some way. I don't know.
Yeah, Insomniac owns the game rights though. So.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Who knows then?
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, well, and like Weston was saying, because you're talking about like the more recent versions of the game being kind of crappy. I think it was 4 or 5. The newer one was just unplayable when it came out, and they had to like re-release it basically, kind of like they did with Final Fantasy 14. Like they had to like redo it and re-release it to actually do anything with it. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, when I was the same way though when I saw this and I just saw being re-released with the same soundtrack, or like you said, most of the songs, I was super duper excited about that specifically, because if they tried to like modernize it and put like some Drake on there or whatever, I would throw it in the trash. I would buy it and burn it so that nobody else could have it and have to suffer that.
I would never play this game if they redid the soundtrack.
Just from the trailer and everything, it looks so polished too, which is awesome.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, definitely stoked for it. Did you guys see when it's coming out? Is it the fall? I can't remember.
I didn't see a release date or anything like that. I think it's supposed to come out this year though. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So looking forward to that. That's gonna be awesome. That was just kind of the bigger news that came out of Summer Game Fest this week, as far as title wise. But did you guys have anything else you wanted to say on that one?
No. I just want to get to Unreal Engine 5, man.
Oh yeah,
this looks incredible.
Yeah. So they displayed. I don't know if this is an actual game. I mean, it looks like it should be, but I don't know if it's going to be. But they did an Unreal Engine 5 PlayStation 5 demo, and oh man,
dude, it's bonkers. My initial reaction to this, I was reading an article literally like 1 or 2 days ago about diminishing returns in the graphics of games as it progresses, how it doesn't progress as quickly, or it doesn't progress as significantly with each new generation of consoles. And then I saw this and I was like, boy, are you guys retarded. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, no, just like the little effects of them walking through with the rocks falling off the edge and, just the pebbles kind of thing, just the tiny details. So smooth. The screenshots just look real, it looks like it's real
incredible
desert scape type thing, Just so
yeah, it's
excited.
Incredible. And I mean, the things that they can do, not just with like the texture quality, but the lighting angles, the way people move more realistically, everything about it is just so immersive. The way they've upgraded the sound system, I mean, it's insane. It's unreal.
Yeah, no,
that's all I had to say about that.
Okay. Yeah, no, it looks so good. This is just a taste, is what they said, so just I can't wait to see more coming down the line too, of what some actual titles and what they're really going to do with this stuff, man. The sky's the limit,
Yeah.
If this isn't a game, I'm probably going to be kind of mad though, because it looks really fun. It looks super neat.
So Epic Games developed this with Unreal Engine 5. Epic makes Fortnite, right?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, so do they run on Unreal Engine, Fortnite?
They do. It's Unreal 4.
Yeah.
That's why, like,
so
even though Fortnite is not like that graphically intense, it actually takes a good PC to run it because it's Unreal 4.
It's pretty smooth, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of beefy, like
so
distance views and stuff.
So I wonder. I wonder if they're developing a second Fortnite, or if they're gonna just translate the whole game since it's online over to Unreal 5. That would be sick.
I don't think they need to at this point because
I don't think they
yeah,
will.
they don't need to do that just because Unreal 4. They're only going to do Unreal 5 on like obviously PS5 or Xbox the next generation exclusives or PCs that can handle it but it'll have to be obviously on PC you can make it better or not.
Gotcha.
And Fortnite didn't come out of early access, but like a year or so ago.
Yeah.
Like I don't even remember exactly when the official 1.0 launch was, but it wasn't that long ago.
Gotcha.
That it actually technically launched. And I mean, some of the top games right now are, 4 and 5 years old, like just franchised games. So I wouldn't see them remaking it soon.
The thing about it too is you don't want to make anything that's massively played online, and that they make probably 90% of their money from. They don't want to make it too like you have to have like a mega really nice super PC to play on,
right?
Because then a lot of these kids that are they're supporting the game that are playing it, all the like millions and millions and millions of kids, like they would have to upgrade, or if they weren't able to play it, they would just lose money. So single player games, anything on like the PS5 or the next generation, and then maybe scalable games that if they can actually have like a setting that would just tone back the resolution or whatever. But
it'd be like a 12v12 COD or something like that would run good in this, but like a full 100 people on a giant map like for Fortnite or PUBG or games like that, I don't think would be super solid.
Even like 12v12, any multiplayer game, unless they just it's probably a couple years down the line until like everyone's PC is up to scratch where they'll do that. They always center it around just basically like making it available to as many people as possible so they can make money versus it just being like the next newest thing. So I mean, and like I said, even Fortnite, it being on Unreal 4, even though it's not like that graphically intense, like you still need you can't play it like on a crappy laptop or anything like that.
Yeah,
that's true.
Won't work.
That's why I'm happy that I have my Google Stadia. Google Stadia, you never need any hardware; it just upgrades itself. Thank you.
You know what? It should say
Google needs to pay us.
No, just Aaron. It should just say Aaron Bowen, sponsored by Google Stadia.
Yeah, pretty much. You should be like their
this has
their
been
gamer,
Aaron Bowen with Google Stadia.
Yeah. Well, they did make note that Unreal 5 engine you can develop on all the current generation consoles, next gen consoles, PC, Mac, iOS, and Android. So it's a library that will build a framework for you that is compatible with everything. So that's pretty cool too.
Super sick, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see the docs on these just to see what the changes were from Unreal 4 to 5, because obviously it's just all a bunch of code that you're pulling from to create your game, to take the functions out of this library to create your own video game. So I'm interested to get the docs, the actual like down in the nerdy stuff to see what's the big changes to it and everything. It would be cool. So
yeah, Mason's the coder super nerd if you're a listener that isn't 100% sure.
Yeah, you just said some stuff and I was like, yeah.
I know. I was like, cool.
Yeah. Well, it's funny until I really started coding, and you guys probably know this, but I never really looked into what these engines were. I was just like, oh, cool, it's the graphics, cool. But like learning like kind of the ins and outs of Unity and things like that, with Unity is really a front end development type thing. A lot of people can use Unity just kind of straight out the box. But just learning kind of the depths of these things, you can kind of, it's cool. It's neat. It's kind of changed my view on video games for sure. Like how things are developed these days.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. Okay.
Are you guys ready for this quiz?
I think I am. Yeah. So, okay. So we were talking about our kind of how we're going to do the format, and we thought we would do like, just kind of like we would verse each other still, but we would just rack up wins instead of like a bracket type thing. And at the end of the season,
robin.
At the end of the season, or like 10 games in or something, we can tally up who has the most wins.
I like it.
So that's kind of how we're going to do the new format of our trivia going forward.
Yeah. So another thing that
three of us having a loser's bracket would be too hard.
Yeah. I think another thing that we need to do too is I've looked into it, but we can't implement it today. Is there's some apps that we can all log into and just click to rate
Okay.
to like buzz in rather than like one person listening and the other person being like,
Yeah.
So we can all be on it, and then whoever just like clicks it like buzzes in. It's pretty like
Oh, yeah.
instantaneous.
Actually, yeah, I put a link for it in Discord, but you guys were talking about mortgages, so I couldn't get it a word edgewise about it before we started
right.
the podcast.
Hey,
I see it
We were
now.
talking
Listen,
about-
just because you stay home and cook and clean and know nothing about mortgages or money doesn't mean we don't.
Oh my god.
Jeez. Yeah, no, let's do that. Let's try to get that set up for next week. So we'll look into that, and I will download it.
Jolly good.
All right, so me versus Weston again this week, and cue the
Yes.
music. That's all we can say, right?
All right. I'm excited. So this is the first quiz of the new season. So I thought, since it's an old school retro game podcast, I would do old school questions. And since we did a theme last week, which I did, that Weston did, which I really liked, we did the little themed thing. So, all right, here we go. I'm gonna have 10 questions. Ding in. If you know the answer, let me finish reading the question first. You guys know the rules.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know what we're doing. All right.
Got it.
Here we go. What was the first video game home console released in North America? This doesn't include arcade cabinets and desktop computers. Is it A, the Atari 6400, B, the Nintendo Entertainment System, C, the Atari 3200, or D, the Magnavox Odyssey?
Ding.
Mason.
Magnavox Odyssey.
That is correct.
Yeah.
The
Hey,
Magnavox
I'm
Odyssey.
just letting you guys know.
Yes.
I dinged at the exact same time. See,
I saw Mason. So
and
okay,
this-
so I have Discord
and
up.
this is why we need the ding, because I literally my voice,
Yes.
like our voices were synchronized at that point.
Yes. So I have Discord open right now. I'm looking at who the green ring envelops first.
Well, it's just
I'm looking
bro,
at
it's
it.
just
That's a
because
good
he's
way to do it.
closer to you in the world. So obviously
No, I don't-
his connection,
No, he's not.
his connection is going to get to your. It's closer to
Oh
you
my god.
than me. And he's at least 6 hours north. So I mean that's a couple of inches of fiber optic line. Okay, calm down.
Bro,
Bro,
we
what's
draw,
your-
we
what's
draw
your-
our
what's
internet
your-
from Dallas. That's where the main thing is, and then it goes
Yeah.
out to the rest of the world.
You're
So
closer
I'm
to
really
Dallas.
close.
Yeah. Your internet
Okay.
speed is faster because you got fiber optic.
I don't have fiber, bro.
I don't.
You know? No, I thought Weston did.
Oh, okay.
I had it in my old place.
Okay.
But yeah, it's okay.
All right. Well, I got the answer right. Okay, so
Good for you.
just,
Good for
let's
you.
move on.
All right.
Okay.
Weston's so mad because he keeps losing. All right, anyway, it's the Magnavox Odyssey, released in 1972. Ralph Baer had invented it and sold the idea to Magnavox.
All right.
All right.
Good
Question
job, Ralph.
2. Final Fantasy IV was released in North America as Final Fantasy III. However, when year was the actual Final Fantasy III released outside of Japan?
Ding.
Was it Mason?
1982.
No, that's not correct. I don't even know.
I dang in too soon.
Yeah,
I
idiot.
don't even know how to respond to that question. Anyway, was it okay? So Weston, was it A, 1993, B, 2006, C, 2001, or D, 1998?
Okay, so 2003 or 2003, 2006,
1993,
1993.
2006.
Okay.
2001 or 1998. This is for the release of Final Fantasy III outside of Japan.
2006.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
That is correct. It
Yeah.
is 2006.
Idiot.
It was released on.
It was released on the Game Boy Color Advance,
Nintendo DS.
DS. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew it was
Yeah.
mobile.
Yeah.
We back in business, boys.
Mason's gonna have to edit this so hard because there's so many red spikes of me laughing. Oh my god.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh my god. All right, 1-1 right now. All right. Question number 3. Based on an article by the popular gaming site Digital Spy, who is the most famous female video game character of all time? Is it
Okay.
A, Princess Peach, B, Chun-Li, C, Lara Croft, or D, Princess Zelda?
Ding.
Mason.
Chun-Li.
Incorrect.
Oh,
Weston, do you want me to read them again? Are you good?
I think it is.
Let me read them again
Okay,
for you really quick. It's Princess Peach, Lara Croft, or Princess Zelda.
Lara Croft.
That is correct.
yeah.
Most famous by far and the most controversial game character ever.
By the way, if
because
it wasn't
of her
Lara Croft,
triangle movies.
yeah. By the way, if it wasn't Lara Croft, I would just be like, okay, this is dumb.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I was
First
just
of all, she has
thinking
had her own
Chun-Li
movies.
'cause of,
Yeah, I know. Come
Yeah.
on,
I was thinking Chun-Li because of longevity, but that's fine.
bro. Who
You're thinking
I don't-
Chun-Li because you're such a big Nicki Minaj fan. That's why.
I literally don't even know who is Chun-Li from Street Fighter.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so by the way, no one cares about Street Fighter.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, first of all, Street Fighter is the #1 tournament played fighting game in the world. So settle
Okay,
down.
calm down. Only Simps play Street Fighter. Okay, chill.
Oh my! All right. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna fight you now. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fist fight
Okay.
in the street like we did that one time, and I'm gonna lose, but that's fine. My honor will be retained.
Yeah. I don't think I want to fight Weston right now. He's looking pretty buff.
Dude, I know. Yeah, I'm not.
Let's
I'm
go,
not
man.
prepared for this at all.
All
all right,
right.
2-1, Weston. All right. Question number 4. In the classic NES game, A Boy and His Blob Truple in Blobonia,
Oh Jesus.
what do you feed your blob to get him to change his shape? Is it A, gumdrops, B, candy bars, C, licorice, or D, jelly beans?
D. Ding D. Jelly beans.
Weston, that is correct. It is jelly beans.
Sorry, I did what Mason did. D.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Ding,
know.
ding, ding.
Oh my god. Yes, with
All right.
a total of 15 flavors for 14 shapes. And if the blob ate the ketchup flavored one, he'd freeze on the screen for a bit because apparently the blob hates ketchup. And so does Mason, which is why I
Gross.
thought this was a
Yeah.
funny one.
Yeah, that's why I
All
wouldn't
right.
know that.
Exactly. All right, 3-1, Weston. All right, question number 5. Upon its North American release in 1991, how much did a Super Nintendo cost? Was it A, $149, B, $199, C, $179, or D, 80 bajillion pesos?
Ding.
Ding.
Mason.
A.
Incorrect.
So A. Okay, so read them again now.
So A was 149, so that's out. So you got B, $199, C, $179, or D, 80 bajillion pesos. And it's not D.
I'm gonna go with B 199.
It was 199.
man.
That is correct.
Because
And
by the
I-
way,
I
who would
believe-
sell it for 174? I'm just saying.
Well, it was 179, but yeah, I
That
thought
is a good
the thing
marketing tactic, though. By the way.
Yeah.
Just selling for that
So,
prices.
I looked it up, and $199. I think in 1991 money was the equivalent of like $340 today.
Ooh.
So that's just crazy. Yeah, I mean
is
that's like
nuts,
buying
yeah.
a PS4 Pro. That's bonkers.
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
All right,
Dude,
so-
who could afford one of
blasted on this
those?
one.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, not me. That's for
Ex-
freaking sure.
except Mason.
All right.
I had one.
All right, so what do we have? 5-1, 4-1. 4-1 Weston. All right,
All right.
here we go. Speaking of Tony Hawk, in the PlayStation 1 classic Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which of the following songs is not on the soundtrack? Is it A, Nothing to Me by Speed Dealer, B, Here and Now by the Ernies, C, Longview by Green Day, or D, Psychovision by Suicidal Tendencies? Long pause for dramatic effect.
Ding.
Nobody's gonna answer.
Okay,
Weston.
C. Green Day Longview.
That is correct.
And hey, by the way,
trick question.
the only reason I thought that is because I don't think they could have afforded the license because Green Day was so
Yeah,
big. By the way,
That's true.
and
Yeah,
it was a
I
guess. That was a
yeah.
guess.
I agree. Yeah, well, and it was one of those questions that I felt like everybody would probably guess at, but that's why I threw Green Day in there because of the licensing exactly on the first game. They couldn't afford it.
Nice.
All right. So, was that 5-1?
5-1.
All right.
Yeah, I need to get every question now to win.
Now, this might go to Weston because Mason hasn't played Perfect Dark, but in the Nintendo 64 classic Perfect Dark, what is the female lead character's name? Is it A, Joanna Dark, B, Hannah Dark, C, Banana Dark, or D, Julia Dark?
Ding.
Mason.
Julia Dark.
Incorrect.
B, Hannah Dark.
I'm done.
Also incorrect. The correct answer is A, Joanna Dark. It definitely wasn't Banana.
Hey, by the way, I have not played that game in like 20 years. Like the last time I played it,
Yeah,
it was
okay,
it was
it's
like,
okay.
hey guys, what's this new game, Perfect Dark? Let's go pick it up from GameStop. No, it wasn't even GameStop. It was EB Games.
EB Games.
It was
bro.
EB Games, yeah. Or KB Toys, one or the other.
All right, let's finish
All
it
right.
out, even though I think I've lost at this point, right?
I think you have, but yeah, let's... Well, no, there's 4 more questions because I got a bonus
Okay.
round.
Oh,
So.
gotcha. Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. In the long-running Castlevania franchise, which debuted in 1986 and continues to see adaptations, how many entries into the saga have been published? Now, this has an asterisk, does not include ports or minigame type games like for mobile. Is
Okay,
this
just main.
A, just main titles? Is this A, 14, B, 27, C, 18, or D, 22?
Ding. D22.
Weston. That's incorrect. I'm sorry.
That was a guess.
Okay. What are the other ones? Say that again.
All right, so you've got A, 14, B, 27, or C, 18.
14.
That is also incorrect.
God, it was 18.
The correct
wasn't it?
answer is 27.
Oh my
as a matter
God.
of fact.
That is
Yeah.
wild.
And if you count ports and remasters and director's cuts, there's like more than 30 of them. It's bonkers.
That is wild.
Woo.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's
Yeah, that's a
lot.
hard one.
All right. Yeah, it definitely. There's a lot of they like rebooted the story a couple times and things like that. So, all right, let's see here now. We'll go. I want to do all these. I want to see what you can get right. All right. Speaking of long-running franchises, what long-running franchise has the most entries in gaming history? Asterisk. This does not exclude mobile games, etc.
What's entries? What does that mean?
Like versions of the game.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Is it A, Mega Man, B, Mario, C, Final Fantasy, or D, Sonic?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. What long-running franchise has the most entries in the franchise in gaming history? So what franchise has the most
Okay.
games? Doesn't exclude mobile games and things like that. So A, Mega Man, B, Mario, C, Final Fantasy, or D, Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously.
Ding.
Mason.
Mega Man.
That would be incorrect.
Okay.
By the way, I thought it was Mega Man too.
Yeah.
I would say, okay,
So you
ding, C, Final Fantasy.
That is also
Oh, God, is it Mario?
the correct answer is Mario.
Wow.
So-
Yeah,
Mario is. Oh, sorry.
No,
Go
no.
ahead.
I just in my brain I was going like, because I thought like you kind of tricked us because of like the Final Fantasy. Like there's like a bunch of mobile games in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I said doesn't exclude mobile games, etc.
You tricked me.
But yeah. So Final Fantasy and Sonic both have 80 games. Mega Man has 103 games, and Mario clocks in at 119 games.
Wow.
Oh.
We were close.
Yeah.
We were close.
Yeah.
All right.
Crazy. All right. Number 10. The classic FPS game Half-Life has been a staple in the gaming community since 1998. Recently, it was remastered under a new title. What is the title given to the remastered version of the game Half-Life? Is it A, Half-Life Alyx, B, Codename Gordon, C, Black Mesa, or D, Lost Coast?
Ding.
Mason.
C.
Black Mesa.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Really?
Yes. It took them like 8 years to make it, but it is beautiful and it's very modernized. It has a little bit of additional content and it is awesome.
I knew that because
Very
you
nice.
told me about that recently.
Oh,
No.
dude, you had insider information, you jerk.
I didn't even realize.
Well, we were just chatting one day and you were telling me about it. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. It's like $20.
I'm
on
saying
Steam.
this is a negligible question because there's conflict of interest, brother-in-law relationship.
But also, Weston won super hard already. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Finally, listening to what Aaron paid off in some way. No.
I know. I'm kind of a well of idiocy and useless information. Can I do the bonus round question really quick?
Yeah,
Sure,
do it.
let's
Can I
do
the
it.
bonus
And
round?
then I
Just
gotta
for
go.
fun? All right. What movie does Aaron, aka myself, commonly refer to as the greatest movie of all time? Is it A, Star Wars Episode 4, B, The Karate Kid, C, North by Northwest, or D, The Sandlot?
Dang the Sandlot.
That's incorrect. Weston doesn't know me at all.
Oh wait, that's my favorite movie.
I'm gonna say
This isn't my favorite movie. It's the greatest movie of all time.
Nah,
Dude, we don't know.
Karate
him.
Kid.
It is The Karate
Yeah,
Kid.
that's what I
Greatest
thought.
movie of all time, Karate Kid.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
Because you said that like a couple weeks ago, but
Yeah,
remember.
I say it a lot because it is
Yeah.
the greatest movie of all time. All right.
All right.
That's a wrap.
I got to
Congratulations,
get
Weston,
going.
on winning week 1.
Good job, Weston. I almost
Oh.
came back.
You thought you thought
What did I get? Did I get 4 and Weston got 5?
you got
honestly,
3 and I
after,
got
like,
5.
questions.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
think after question 6, I stopped keeping track because you couldn't win, so I didn't really care.
So I got the Magnavox, I got the Half-Life, and I got the that last one. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right.
Well,
Well, that was fun, you guys.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Good times. Those
Yeah,
were
good
good
job,
questions.
Weston. All right, so 1 up for Weston, and then let's see. I guess should it be me and Aaron next week then?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. I'll do. I actually really like doing the questions for you guys because the same thing
Cool.
is like I just made up the questions as well last time and they seem
Yeah.
to be pretty good and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely do that next round too.
yeah, it was.
It's
I
really fun
really
to-
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
like making the questions because I get to go look at Wikipedia and then read about the
Yeah,
game.
same.
I mean, like it's like a game that I haven't seen in a while and like learn about like just I don't know, I'd like deep dive into Wikipedia and nerd out and stuff. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, next week we are playing. What are we playing next week?
Perfect
Dark. Sorry. Okay.
1.
And
First one.
we will see you then. Nintendo 64 Perfect Dark. See you next week.
Yep. Bye everybody.
Later, plays.
If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.